So, there's another little trick I discover here. If you have a boost lift up while you're holding the aerial rotation, like this. So what actually is the trick here is that you don't get a second flip, that you miss your lift off like this. So if you hold your aerial buttons, which are LB or RB for me, then it's a lot easier to get it straight up and do the second jump to get high quickly without the car backflipping. So I actually have the arrow already held in before I jump. So I'm not focusing on the goal necessarily, just on the takeoff and how to time the lift of the car. Because you have that second jump. So if you jump your first time and you're already rotating, then the second jump will continue in that rotation with the aerial roll, which is of course why you need different buttons for the aerial roll and the actual second jump and the jump. Not the jump, but this is it's not many people think that it's just for show when people do the spiraling technique, but it's just to get quicker into the air. And the spiraling technique you can use to correct your path in the air. So instead of doing this, you can do this. So the second line is a lot quicker. But the adjustings you make are a little bit smaller, so your line, it's harder to move away from your line that your car is already in. And depending on where your car is rotating, you can bend it down, up, or left or right, like that. And that's actually what's been practiced here. It's not about the goal or that necessarily. That's why the ball is also suspended in the air. So you can just practice those spiral lines. But it's in competitive play, it's the higher your level is, the more important it is to get to the ball first. And the quicker also, of course, your opponents are gonna be. So if you can't rank up in level and you can't follow up on the speed, it's probably because you're not using techniques like this. So it's just training the brain on which actions to do with your fingers on the controller when you're gonna use the aerial roll from the bottom up before you even jump your first jump. As you see, the car starts jumping right away. Starts rotating right away. And it's particularly the jump, the launch, that will give you a slight advantage in getting to the ball first. Okay, so I kind of find another cheat. It's more of a shortcut than a cheat, but it's definitely a lot quicker and easier than, well, if you have certain button settings than if you would have stock settings. So what I'm doing is I actually just press my boost, my throttle, which is not even necessary. So I could do it with boost and arrow only. I don't even have to hold the throttle, of course. And that's always saying if I'm going forward. So my boost is on A, and then my arrow right is on RB, and my jump is on X. But my second arrow flip is also on X, as I described in the button settings cheat. So if you see, I can stall the car in its rotation at any time by just pressing X while I'm holding A and RB. That may seem insignificant, but it's another way to adjust your line, especially when you use your directional joystick. So you see, I can stop the rotation at any moment, but then keep it going afterwards right away. I knew that option was there before, but I never dove into that mechanic yet. So this is actually the perfect practice training pack to test this out and to try to get the hang of it. Like otherwise you would be doing left and right adjustments with your joystick, or even using the other aerial roll to the other side. So here it goes right, then it goes left, which is a big advantage if you can have both of them. So a lot of players only have one side, which is easier to get the hang of and learn. But if you're ever in a situation where you have to change, then you can't do it with one side play. So for accuracy, it will be very important in the phase that I will have these spiral lines under control, meaning that you would be able to hit the ball every time while going full speed boost from the liftoff while rotating just like I'm doing now. Double jump in the air to get high quick, and then get the right corrections to hit the ball, preferably right under the crossbar at the hardest power you got. See, I had to hold back right before I hit the ball here. So if you get the hang of those lines, then the corrections will come and play, and that's when you will be able to approach it very accurately by those small adjustments. And other people have to change with their direction or with the rotations, but by just holding the second jump button X, I'll quit the rotation, and then by just letting it go again, no, pressing it in, I quit the rotation. By letting it go again, it goes back in rotation. Okay, so another little trick here, which is again a result of the button settings. So on liftoff, I mentioned I was already holding the air roll. So if I just press one jump, which is the X button for me, it will already rotate because I'm holding the LB air roll left button. So if you want to do that and do your second jump, so if I hold that and do my second jump, you can see that it does nothing as long as I don't hold my left joystick to point where that arrow, that second flip has to go. So this is just holding LB and jumping. And now I jump my second flick with the joystick. So then it goes way wide left. Now what I'm pointing to is that you wanna get your car up on the second jump. So to get height quickly, your second jump, before you use the second jump, the car has to be pointed upward. And then it will carry the boost and the speed and the momentum upward in that direction. Now the danger in that mechanic is that if you use your second jump while you're actually trying to get the car in an upright position, that you will get the backflip, and you don't want that. So as I said, I have the jump and the second jump on the same button. So that's a lot easier and more convenient than any other button setting. Now if you want to jump higher, your first or second jump you have to hold X or hold your jump button. So by holding your first jump, so if I just do a jump, little tap, you can see it stays low to the floor, which is handy for quick actions on the ball. If I hold it, it goes higher. Now the higher thing is not the thing that plays here, it's the holding part, because when I hold my first jump button, the car will not do a backflip in a second jump that quickly. So if I just press jump and second jump while I try to get my car straight up, and if my movement with my joystick is too late, then I will get my backflip. But if I hold my first jump, then go while I do the rotations. Oh, now it gets complicated. So if I hold my first jump, the car will not rotate until I let go of that jump button. Now that gives you a few extra milliseconds to get your car upwards. And that's a little cheat. That's a little advantage that you get because you don't have to time differently. You don't have to use other buttons differently. You can just hold that first jump in for a little bit until your car is straightened out or straight up, and then you don't get your second flip back flips like that. So it's not even easy to demonstrate right away. At the moment, I still have to think about it. So see, so if I jump shortly, I don't get high enough. So to get higher, you need more lifting on your joystick after your first jump. And as you see, I don't get the second backflip jump anytime. See, jump, hold, and second jump. So just discovered that actually that it's just that little advantage from having those button settings. 6 months. Six months. Ah. Screen rolling.